Thank you, councillors and staff for attending the meeting. Finance and Governance Committee meeting, Wednesday, 22nd of April 2026. I wish to welcome everybody to the April meeting of the Finance and Governance Committee. Standing committees are held as part of the council meeting process in order for committees to consider reports prepared by council officers and to make recommendations regarding these reports to the monthly council meeting. Council's delegates on the Finance and Governance Committee are Mayor Kennedy, Councillor Orgate, Chairperson, Councillor Bolland, Councillor Chandler, Councillor Edgecombe and Councillor Jewett. Statement of ethical obligations. All councillors undertook an oath or affirmation at the beginning of their term of office and declared to undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the people of the Broken Hill local government area and the city of Broken Hill, and that they will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in them under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of their ability and judgment. Live streaming and recording of meetings. This committee meeting is being live streamed via YouTube and recorded and published online via Council's website. To those present in the meeting today, by attending in this public meeting, you are consenting to your image, voice and comments being recorded and published. The chairperson and/or general manager have the authority to pause the live stream if comments or debate are considered defamatory or otherwise inappropriate for publishing. Participants are advised that they may be subject to legal action if they engage in unlawful behaviour or commentary. First item is apologies and leave of absence. There's an apology being submitted by Councillor Edgecombe. Can we have a mover? Move, Councillor Chandler. Seconder, Councillor Jewett. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 3. Mr. Mayor, can you provide the Mayor the prayer?
Yep. Almighty God, we ask you to invoke your blessing upon this council. Direct and prosper our deliberations to the advancement of true welfare of the people of the council area, our state and Australia. Amen.
Thank you. Councillor Chandler, for the acknowledgement of the country.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet today, the land of the Willikali people, and pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging.
Thank you, Councillor Chandler. Councillor Bolland, for the acknowledgement of Broken Hill's mining history.
Thank you, Chair. We take this time to reflect, remember and honour the over 800 miners that have lost their lives and those who were crippled or maimed on the line of load. We thank the brave miners and their wives who were part of the 1919 to 1920 strike that lasted over 500 days and delivered a 35-hour working week. Mining is our past and future.
Thank you, Councillor Bolland. Next item, item 6, minutes for confirmation that the minutes of the Finance and Governance Committee meeting held 10th of December 2025 be confirmed.
Move that way.
Mayor Kennedy. Seconder. Bolland. Any comments on the minutes? Questions? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Disclosures of interest. Are there any disclosures of interest? No disclosures of interest. Reports. Item 1, Broken Hill City Council Report number 40/26, dated March the 11th, 2026. The Draft Delivery Program 2025 to 2029, incorporating Draft Operational Plan 2026 to 2027, inclusive of Statement of Revenue Policy and Draft Schedule of Fees and Charges 2026-2027 for public exhibition.
I'll move that.
Moved. I missed. Who was it? Mayor Kennedy. Seconded, Councillor Chandler. Any speakers?
Yeah, look, firstly, thank you all that were involved in the process to do those programs and schedule of fees. The reality is that it's been a difficult period with increases in fuel prices, which give uncertainty as far as CPI go. Thank all that were involved because they went back from a starting point, made sure that this budget is as lean as possible. If you weren't to take into account depreciation increasing by CPI, then the budget would be very close to break even. So we need to acknowledge just how well all involved have been in doing that. I also will just make just a brief comment that with all the expenditure we've had on some of the projects that we've had, in the current budget, we're looking at really only funding the capital projects that are there, and only if we get grant funding that covers the entire project will we go ahead. So things may slow down over the next few years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any further comments or questions? It's probably the most important report of the year, setting the rates amongst other things and the schedule of fees. And I personally think it's a good report, and the fact that we've gone, as we have done for some time, in terms of rating, we've gone for a balanced scenario that is pretty good. The average ratepayer, other than business people, will pay about, I think it was 3.05% increase, which is pretty damn good in this day and age when you compare the way cost overruns have just gone crazy. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 2, Broken Hill City Council report number 41/26 dated March the 31st, 2026. Draft long-term financial plan for public exhibition. 3 recommendations there. Do we have a mover? Do we have a mover? Councillor Mayor Kennedy. Seconder, Councillor Boland. Speak to it, Mayor Kennedy.
No, just to say, look, our long-term draft plan, financial plan, it's always getting better. As a city, we're cutting back on the backlog of infrastructure that's built up over a long period. People were happy with the direction that council's taking, the ability of council to continue to reinvest in that infrastructure, and increasing assets or maintaining those assets is really important. And the long-term financial plan restates that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any further comment? When you look at the report, both reports, I was surprised that the capital expenditure in the last 5 years was $96 million. That's a real achievement. And I mean, it's going to be harder times in the future, but I mean, we've broken a lot of new ground, and I think the council should continue to do so. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 3, Broken Hill City Council report number 42/26 dated April the 14th, 2026. Adoption of the draft financial reserves policy. Do we have a mover?
I'll move that way.
Move, Councillor Boland. Seconder, Councillor Jewett. Speak to it, Councillor Boland.
Thank you, Chair. I mean, this is an important policy. It sets out the council's reserves and what needs to be set aside, and it ensures that that the assets, our key assets, are continuously maintained and replaced, such as garbage trucks under the domestic waste management reserve, things like that. You can do improvements to the tip, ensuring our staff have got their accruals for their annual leave, which is important, and other important things as well, such as the only unused or unexplained grants or things like that. It's an important policy. It may look like it just sits there and it's one of those machineries of council, which it is, but it's an important machinery of council. Every bit of that, every part is important, but this is particularly important to ensure that we continuously maintain those assets and assets that are important to the community. We know how important in keeping our city clean is, and this goes a long way to ensuring that.
Thank you, Councillor Boland. Any further comment?
Yep. If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Chair, if I could just speak on it.
Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Had a good look at the and our reserves are quite low until grants come in, and I think the capital works we've had, long-term financial plans opening cash position has us relatively tight with the potential for it to have to delay some capital works and maintenance and delay maintenance to free up cash for operating purposes. The reserves are quite low coming into the 30th of June. And through you to the General Manager and to the finance people, is there another option that we can take so that we aren't delaying these projects? We've had a good run with projects, but you'd hate to see the momentum stop if there's any other way around it, such as I think the $5 million that we took as an overdraft, we haven't used any. Can that be converted to a loan, or can we, do something in that matter? There's projects on the fence at the moment, like a cemetery fence, Pro Heart mural if the grant isn't successful, potential for the airport security upgrades and essential road and footpath maintenance work. Also, Bill Renfrew lighting, which we have to contribute 170,000. Things like that we don't want to stop. I believe that as a council, it's our responsibility to keep that stuff going within our budgets and within, if we can borrow something and pay it off over long term, I think that's better than just sitting doing nothing. We should be in a position that if we need to contribute to grant opportunities that become available, that we also do so. So if we got the grant for the airport and we were 2 million short, we wouldn't have, if we haven't set something in place, we wouldn't have that money, and therefore the grant would go back. So we need to have that position. I just think, even if it's just sitting there, we need to have that money. The report says that staff are currently reviewing the council's liquidity position and options. Are we able to have a report back for the next meeting of these options and a way forward to include what I've said in the above? Would that be possible?
Mr. General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Yes, certainly. Cash is operating very tight as per the budget and the long-term financial plan, and the overdraft that council approved in February was for a short-term basis, if required for cash flow, and that hasn't been utilised due to some careful cash flow management. But certainly we are at that point where there's alternate and more cost-effective and cost-efficient ways of looking at things. So the finance team have been looking at that. So on that basis, I'm happy to bring back a report to the council meeting with some options for council to consider. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Mr. General Manager. I agree with the Deputy Mayor. And I also said earlier that the council's achieved a lot in terms of its capital program in the last 5 years, and we shouldn't just sit back from now on and rest on our laurels. We have to try and squeeze every dollar we can so that we can continue providing and improving services and facilities for the betterment of the city. Further comment?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, look, very prudent of Councillor Higgy. It really is important to have money there for co-contributions. If we don't have there, without a doubt, it will result in us, and as was explained, as I said earlier, with the first item that moved, our way going forward was we'd only take on capital expenditure where the grants were totally paid for. That's probably unrealistic when you think about it. For example, if we do get 15 million from the federal government, $5 million from the state government for the airport, and we said would contribute $1 million, and then we get a bill back for, say, 23 or 4 million, and then we don't go with a project that we fought for a long time as a community, because we actually don't have that ready cash as we start to rebuild our reserves from rebuilding them after we've spent so much on some of the capital projects that have, because of some of the CPI increases, have resulted in those projects being above. I will say that luckily our library was locked in, and it was kept within budget. If that had been the initial project, ultimately that would have probably just about bankrupt the city. So we need to make sure that we do have that money there so that it is available if any big projects do come up. Keeping in mind that we have a payout for litigation that will run into the millions of dollars. So that money is there, and if we do choose to get a loan, we can pay it back quickly if we get that, or we can keep that money to make sure that we continue to improve capital expenditure. I think it would be probably prudent to just add an item, an extra item or an extra sentence in that we do get a report back for the council meeting explaining potential options that we could get money for council to make sure that our reserves are there, so that we can have that capital fallback position.
Right, Councillor Bolland as the mover, will you include that?
Yeah, that's I'm fine with that. That is a number 3. To receive the report back as per the Mayor's commentary.
And Councillor Jewett, you agree with that? So I'll put it to a vote. Any further speakers? Put it to a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 4, Broken Hill City Council Report number 43/26, dated April the 14th, 2026, Investment Report for March. 1 recommendation. Do we have a mover?
Move that way.
Councillor Bolland. Seconder? Councillor Chandler. Speak to it, Councillor Bolland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just note the non-compliant with policy points there. Look, it's simply off the back of the shock that's come quickly. If you think back 8 weeks ago, diesel was about $1.60 a litre, so it was a quick shock, and it's coming through the system now. Obviously, we've seen higher oil prices, but I make note of one of the points that higher oil prices be passed through the supply chain, happen very quickly. So the impact from inflation is high from the first round impacts, which you can see in petrol stations, but more will become evident from the second order impacts. Whether you like it or not, fossil fuels drive the modern economy, particularly diesel. Inflation's about to skyrocket. You've got, I think we're already in stagflation, where you've got high inflation, low growth, and unemployment mixing together for stagflation. Not seen since the mid-70s. So it'll be interesting. I think everyone will need to take note over the next few months what happens, but I'm confident with the policy, and the council's finance team are well over it, and the policy will be back in ticks across the board shortly.
Thank you, Councillor Bolland. Any further speakers or questions?
Just a quick question through the chair to the general manager. The report that you bring back, part of that would be considering that if we do have money for capital, it also would affect our policy that we have for investment. That would probably bring them all back into.
Mr. General Manager.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, that's correct, Mayor Kennedy. The report that we'll bring back will include that, and it would replenish the reserves that you're currently seeing there that are currently somewhat unfunded, or some of them are unfunded, so it'll replenish them. It'll bring the policy back into line, and would be looking to do that in the most cost-efficient way for council to consider, but it would bring us back into policy just in regards to having some cash flow and liquidity there during this period of time where we're just not receiving any income coming in. It's not rate season. We haven't received the financial assistance grant, and the timing of the large payments that we're predominantly paying for the airport with the grant payment that comes behind it puts us in this financial situation where we're non-compliant, but certainly the options we'll bring back will ensure that council has comfort that we would be maintaining policy. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. General Manager.
Thank you.
Further questions or comment? Put it to a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 5. Broken Hill City Council Report number 44/26, dated March 17, 2026. Proposed new licence for Arink Incorporated. 4 recommendations there for consideration. Do we have a mover?
I'll move that.
Move, Mayor Kennedy. Seconder? Chandler? Speak to it, Mayor Kennedy.
Just to say that it's good to have them out there.
All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Confidential matters, there are nil. Closure of the meeting at 5:50.